Okay, here I am bringing you another session from the convention, the third annual MDC convention, and this is the powerful and amazing Les Brown, one of my favorite things from the whole convention. So give me a minute, let me share my screen, make sure we've got the computer sound on and that we're optimized, and let's go straight into this right here. Make it big so you guys can see it really well. And here we go.
Because let me tell you, if you don't do personal development and if you don't make yourself better, your check's not going to make itself better either. Your level of income cannot surpass your level of growth. Your mindset has to allow it. Everything has to be in sequence. And I can tell you right now, if a guy like me, who dropped out of high school, who had no future at 18 years old, 2 kids on the way, married, 3 kids by the time I was, how old was I, honey, 20? Can come up here on this stage before he's even 40 years old, literally retired, and be able just to spend time with the people I love and care about the most. Why the hell can't you? So now I'm going to bring a gentleman up on stage that is a world-renowned, for decades, been a world-renowned motivational speaker that's going to come up here for the next hour or so and share some wisdom with you guys. I've actually gotten to know this gentleman over the last 40 to 60 days. Actually working with him within this company and getting to know him as an individual just inspires me to be hungry. This gentleman has moved, and I mean by moved, I mean moved by heart, might, mind, and soul, millions and millions of people around this world to do better things and to become better people, and more importantly, be better for the people around them. And I can tell you right now, I cannot wait for you guys to all meet my friend, my business partner, Mrs. Maybe Brown's baby boy, Mr. Les Brown! Les Brown, everybody!
Whoa. Thank you. You may be seated. It's such a pleasure to be here with you in a room full of dreamers. I'm in the presence of greatness. I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left and look them in the eyes and say, you have greatness in you. Do that right now. Fantastic. I like to do that because we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential. And now more than ever, this place where you have decided to take a position with your life, it indicates that you have greatness in you. There are many people that as you talk to them about this opportunity, because they suffer from possibility blindness, and I understand that, they won't say yes. But you said yes because there's something in you that say that I want to control my own future. Give yourselves a round of applause. It said in life, there are two types of people. They call them the willing. Those who are willing to work and those who are willing to watch them. And many of you are here, even though you couldn't afford to be here, but you were willing to show up for your dream. Give yourselves a round of applause. There are special people who respond to an opportunity that will liberate them from themselves. There's a song called Lord, Deliver Me from Me. How many have ever found yourself working against yourself? Raise your hands, please. How many times have you looked at your life and said, you know what? I can do better than this. Raise your hands, please. Yeah. Dr. Howard Thurman said, there's something in each and every one of us that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. It will be perhaps the only guide you will ever have or hear. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life will be spent on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. And I submit to you that you showed up because you said to yourself that I'm going to pull my own strings. You showed up because you said to yourself, I'm going to control my own destiny. You showed up for your dream, for your legacy, for your family, for your children. Give yourself a round of applause. You showed up. And I think about my life, born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. And I stand on this stage because of two women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Her name is Mamie Brown. And when I think about Mama, somebody asked me the other day, what drives you? How are you still motivated and driven? You're 75 years old. What keeps you going? This is Mama. Isn't she beautiful? This is my twin brother, Wesley. Which one am I, on your left or on your right? Yes, I'm the cute one. You got it, on your left. Daily choices. Mr. Moss, my godfather, brought Mrs. Mamie Brown to an abandoned building in Liberty City, a poor section of Miami, Florida. Said, this lady wanted to put her kids up for foster care, ultimately adoption, but she don't want them separated. And They said my birth mother looked up and said, "Lady, are you the one? Will you keep my boys together and take good care of them?" And Mama said, "Yes. I've never had any children before, yes." Mr. Moss helped my birth mother to get to her feet, holding us. And she got close to Mrs. Mamie Brown, and she looked her in the eyes, nose almost touching. And she said, "I believe you're the one." And Mr. Moss said, she handed us to Mrs. Mamie Brown, and she kissed us one last time. And when she turned to go out, this place where we were, Mr. Moss opened the car door, and Mama got in and she closed the door. And our birth mother was looking at us, crying. And she hit the car. "Go, Mr. Moss, go." And he drove off slowly. And then he heard a scream, "Wait, wait." And Mr. Moss said, "Mama said, you think she changed her mind?" He said, "I don't know. I don't know, Mamie." And our birth mother came and said, "You promised to take care of my boys." "I promise. I swear to God, I promise." She said, "You go, Mr. Moss. You go." And he drove off slowly. When he told me that story, I just realized how blessed I am to be here. I want you to think about your goals and dreams. I want you to think about a personal goal that you want to achieve. My first personal goal was to leave the life that I was born into and to take care of my mother. I'm an old-fashioned dude. I don't believe women should pay bills. Come on, help me out, fellas. Help me out, you know. A man, not a grown boy, but a man, when I came along, paid the bills. And I said, "Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm gonna pay all the bills." Mama, she worked on Miami Beach. She cleaned homes on Miami Beach. She worked for wealthy families. And she cooked for them and kept their children. And she would take me to work with her because the neighbors wouldn't want to keep me because they said that I was too much of a problem, that I had been touched in the head. So they said, "Mamie, you need to take him with you." And I would walk around these big, beautiful mansions, and I said, "Mama, what is it, Leslie? I want to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this." She said, "Oh, Leslie, you don't have to do that." I said, "No, I know, Mama, but you didn't have to adopt us either, but you did." And years later, I went back to Miami to fulfill that dream. I saw a house that I just knew Mama would love. And I went through the yellow pages and found a real estate agent that said coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And I found this agency at random. This is when And the millenniums don't know anything about this. They had yellow pages. They don't know anything about this. And at random, I picked this agency. A lady answered the phone named Shirley. And I said, I'd like to engage you to take me to look at some homes in North Miami Beach. And she said, it'd be my pleasure. And she came and I got Mama dressed and drove us all over North Miami Beach. And I saw this home that I knew earlier that Mama would like. And so when we passed this home, Mama said, wow, if I lived in something like that, I'd feel like Mrs. Rockefeller. And she was talking about John D. Rockefeller, a very wealthy man out of New York. I said, you really like that? She said, yes. And so we looked at other homes, and several weeks later, I said, Mama, have you seen anything you like? She said, that one that I told you that I feel like Mrs. Rockefeller. I said, well, let's go look at some other places. And we went in that same area again. And she said, Leslie, look at that home. I said, Mama, guess what? She said, what? I said, I know the people who live there. She said, you do? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, would you like to go in and see it? She said, yes. Mama was 78 at the time. And I went around, I opened the door. She was holding my arm as we were walking toward the house, and she saw this home that was on about 2 or 3 acres of land and waterfall. She stopped and said, Leslie, are you sure you know these people, boy? I said, yes, ma'am, Mama, I do. We got to the door and I couldn't hold it back any longer. I took the key out and put it in the door and opened it. I said, Mrs. Rockefeller, this is your home. She said, Leslie, what are you talking about? I said, Mama, this is for you. It's fully furnished. Everything's paid for. She looked in bewilderment, and she stuck her head in the door and said, anybody home? I said, Mama, there's no one here but us. And she walked in and she walked around and she said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And then she stopped and she looked at me and she said, and you were such a problem child. I said, I know, but I got money now. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody want to find out for themselves. Friend of mine, that Rita Davenport, said money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas, even if you're as homeless as I am, you got some money and women will find something cute on you. Oh, he's got earlobes like Tom Cruise, honey. Eyelashes like Denzel Washington. I used to be so broke I walked past the bank and tripped the alarm. Creditors used to call the house if our children would answer the phone and say, my daddy say he ain't home. When they invented caller ID, I spoke in unknown tongues. Oh, Chevrolet, Honda, tie your bow tie, tie the yellow bow tie. I was so happy. This is my oldest son and oldest daughter, Ona. Y'all stand up, give them a round of applause, please. Yeah. Now, at this stage of my life, at 75, I train and develop speakers, teach them how to develop a signature message so they can create a national and global brand. And so we have Renee and Kareem Ellis Amaris. Would y'all please stand up? Give them a round of applause, please. Yeah. So I want you to think about your goals. And I want you to have a goal that's beyond your comfort zone, a goal that will challenge you, a goal that will stretch you. And the reason I'm encouraging you to do that is because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. So I want you to think about some personal goal that you want to achieve. My personal goal was to buy my mother a home. I did that. I achieved that. My personal goal now is around my health. I'm a 27-year prostate cancer conqueror because of God's grace and mercy. I'm under the auspices of Cancer Centers of America, and my doctor from Pakistan, he came in and he looked at me. He said, "Mr. Brown." I said, "Yes." He said, "I don't have patients, I have family members. Do you know that you have 4th-stage cancer?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am. I'm aware of that." Dr. Taha, he said, "Do you know that it's metastasized to 7 areas of your body?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm aware." He said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, 7 is my lucky number. I was born February 17th, and my phone number is 702. Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. 7 is my lucky number. He looked at his nursing assistant. He said, "This one is different." And so that's my personal goal. Now, I want you to think about your financial goal. And I want you to expand it. I found that most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because of what I did for 14 years. Aim too low and hit. You don't know enough about yourself to be a cynic. You have greatness in you. And just because you can't see it does not mean that you can't do it. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you, because you're making it your daily choice to say yes, 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 yes. I can do this. I'm doing this. You've decided to make a choice to live from the place of yes. So I want you to think about your personal goal, your financial goal, and raise the bar on yourself. And then I want you to think about your social contribution. We live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to make a difference. Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. So I want you to think in terms of what would be different because you were born. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. There's something that you have that the world needs. You are a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. Steve Harvey, the comedian, went to the hospital with a friend of his to visit his grandmother. And this young man's grandmother asked him, talking to her grandson, "Do you know what your grandfather's name is?" And he said, "No." And she said, because he didn't leave you anything. He didn't leave you anything. How many of you want to leave a legacy? Raise your hands, please. Yeah. How many of you have children? Raise your hands, please. Yes. And so the daily choices that you make are choices about building a legacy. Write this down. Choose to live a life that will outlive you. Write that down. Choose to live a life that will outlive you. My daughter Ona called me one day and she said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm at my desk working on some things." She said, "I'm in traffic. There's a policeman in the middle of the road and obviously there's a funeral procession about to come by." I said, "Oh." And then all of a sudden she said, "Whoa, wow, oh my God." I said, "What's wrong, baby? Was there an accident?" She said, No. She said a hearse came by, but there was only one car behind it. She said, "Daddy, when I die, I want there to be a long procession of cars, traffic backed up. When I die, because of how I live my life, I want the cemetery to be filled with people." How many want to live a life of contribution? Raise your hands, please. Very good. We're going to share with you how you can do that. And the first thing, let us say together, it's possible. Yes, it's possible that you can live a life that will outlive you. It's possible that you can build a legacy. It's possible that you can be financially free. Let us say together, it's necessary. Yes, everybody together, it's necessary. See, when you have goals and dreams, you're going to have resistance. Forrest Gump had a point. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I remember the first time that I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Dr. Alfred Golson out of Washington, D.C., boy, he had a weird sense of humor. He spoke 3 words to me that no one ever wants to hear. "You have cancer." I said, "Dr. Golson, can you give me a second opinion?" He said, "Yes, and you're ugly too." I said, "Come on, man." But it made me to begin to reflect and to look at life, that we have a limited time to be here. Write this down. Live like you're going to die. You know, remember Michael Jackson said, "This is it." They leased stadiums. They had tickets printed. They hired staff, marketing, public relations. They had all kind of game plans for a global march around the world, performing. He said, "This is it." He had no idea that he was not going to be here. I remember being in Vegas, and I was sitting at a table where Frank Sinatra was there. And I heard him say to a young man, "Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be." You have something special. You have greatness in you. Write this down. Live your life like you mean it. When you leave here, there are going to be all kinds of distractions. Negative conversations from family members and friends. "Oh, you're part of some pyramid group." Negative conversations within yourself. All kinds of distractions. That's why most people don't achieve their goals. When you live your life like you mean it, you are focused. Why? Because where focus goes, energy flows. Keep thine eyes single and thy whole body will be full of light. Write this down. Do what you know, not what you feel. They injected me with steroids to keep the cancer at bay. I used to laugh at my mother and my sister, and they have hot flashes. Now I have hot flashes from the steroid. I turn the air conditioning on, I turn it off. Turn it on, I turn it off. I call them power surges. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Pain, sickness, accidents, tragedies. They're stalking us every day. So people who are serious about their dreams and live life like they mean it, they live in the present. They do what they know, not what they feel. I'm releasing weight that I gained from the steroids, going through the airport, minding my own business. An M&M peanut saying, hey, what's happening, Les? I can hook you up. My mama used to fix a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. I got a sweet tooth, let me tell you something. Mama's sweet potato pie was so good you had to kick your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes. I went to a friend's house and she had some vegan pastries. I was looking at them, I said, whatever. I felt embarrassed because I remember the time, and millennials don't know anything about this, I used to eat pickled pig feet in a jar. I mean to tell you, oh my God, poor little pig. We called chitlins ruffled steak. Oh my God! We so mad at the roaches at our house, they moved out and said, you know what, John ain't got no food up in here. Oh my God. When you have goals, things happen. Your children start losing their minds. They were talking about UFOs the other day. I believe in aliens, and I know they're real, because I got one in my family. How many of y'all have children? Raise your hand. Yeah, my youngest boy is an alien. I'm looking at him saying, you about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. You about to make me act a fool. Up in here, up in here. Well, he's a genius in his own right. He looks just like me, it looked like I made him by myself. I've motivated people around the world and he can't hear my voice. You know, God has a way of humbling you. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I'm telling you. You know, he said he's suffering from bipolar. Mamie Brown said, yeah, I can knock that bipolar. My mother, boy, she was something else. She could flip you, you know, Mamie Brown. They'd arrested her today. Turned her in. Call 1-800-CHILD abuse. But as you think about your goals and dreams, there will be distractions. Write this down. Keep the main thing the main thing. Stacey N.C. Grant wrote a book, Action, Action, Despite the Distractions. Continue to do the things that you know what you need to do. Do what you know, not what you feel. I know that I need to exercise every day, but I don't feel like it. How many of you understand what I'm saying? You're going to be confronted with this in your business. You know what you need to do to build the business, but most days you won't feel like it. That's why Paul said the things I should do that I don't do, and the things I shouldn't do, I do. Become consciously conscious of your behavior and make the daily choices of doing what you know, not what you feel. Come on now, come on, help me up in here, help me. You are here because you're different. You're unique. It's lonely at the top. How many of you know it's lonely at the top? Raise your hands. Yes, it's lonely at the top, but you eat better. Everybody's not going to see what you see. You're not common, you're different. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I don't wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dull by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. You are uncommon. Give your dream a round of applause. You're uncommon. You are uncommon. I want you to write this down. Relationship capital. Coach K and Jermaine, two dynamos. When I met Coach K, I felt his heart and his spirit and his unstoppable energy. And Coach K and Jermaine and Chris and James, what they shared with me something that a gentleman who really changed my life, Mr. Leroy Washington, I'll never forget, when I walked in his classroom. It was a defining moment. See, when I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. And I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. But my junior year, I met this man, and he's very much like Coach K. He said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for me. I said, oh, sir, I can't do that. I'm here to see MacArthur Stevens. I'm not one of your students. He said, look at me. Yes, sir. Go to the board and do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. I said, sir, I can't do that. And then the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart. He's DT. What's DT? He's the dumb twin. And they erupted in laughter. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And when he spoke those words, on one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated, because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. Write this down. You are a messenger of hope. Every 40 seconds, someone commits suicide. When you talk to people, don't just approach them about the product. They can smell residual commission breath. They can smell that. Zig Ziglar had a point. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Talk to them. One of the things that gave me an advantage in the speaking industry, Mike Williams, write this down, the road to your best stuff, the road to your best stuff. You can order it on Amazon. I wrote the foreword for it. I encourage you to get it. He said, Brownie, he said, you want to become successful in multi-level marketing or as a speaker in business? I said, yes. He said, don't let what you want to say get in the way of what your customers want to hear. In all thy getting, get understanding. Take time to conduct communications intelligence. Ask them questions and listen to them. Maya Angelou said that people, they don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. When you show an interest in people, when you build relationships with people, the three things that I learned from Mr. Washington that turned my life around. I'm going to share this with you. Number one, he said, what do you want to do with your life, young man? I said, I want to buy my mother a home. He said, great. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. He said, develop your mind. And I want you to write this down, mental resolve. The majority of the people that you introduce this business to, they're going to quit. What I'm encouraging you to do, I'm going to send you something free. And some recordings that's designed to achieve mental resolve. Because most people don't know what you know. Most people don't know that the 40-40 plan is gone, where you can go to college, graduate, get a job, work for 40 years and retire on 40%, which wasn't enough in the first place. That day is gone. How many of you know that's gone? Raise your hands, please. So most people will quit on themselves. When you come out of the house, you have a minimum of 6,000 hits on your mind from advertising. 6,000. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your phone, television, billboards, conversations around you. That's why we're told, be ye not conformed to this world. And what you want to do is to get them to unplug from life as it is and start programming themselves to become successful by listening to something that could expand their minds, touch their heart, and ignite their spirit so that they can become, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter with their lives. So email me, lesround77@gmail, and say, send me those messages on mental resolve. And as you listen every day, I cannot tell you the number of people said, Mr. Brown, I was going through a tough time, and I heard your voice, and you helped me get through it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Here's the other thing Mr. Washington said, and write this down. Create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. Collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. That's what I enjoyed as I listened to Coach K and Jermaine and the members of our team and the leadership. When you create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, that gives you what Warren Buffett calls a sustainable, competitive edge. You can't make it by yourself today. You want to look at yourself. My youngest son, John Leslie, he has a quote. He said, as you look at your life, look at your goals and dreams, he said, ask yourself the question, who should I count on and who should I count out? There are some people that are always there when they need you. Did you hear what I just said? There are people that are there when they need you, but when you need them, you can't find them. Come on, that'll preach. Repeat after me, please. Let go or be dragged. Yes, let go or be dragged. Don't try and convince them. Everybody's not going to see what you see. Let go or be dragged. Everybody won't have the vision that you have. Let go or be dragged. Everybody won't have the hunger that you have. Let go or be dragged. They'll drag you down. Allow your daily choices to be choices that will move you in the direction of your dreams, not from your dreams. Jim Rohn said that when you look at people, he said, you want to live your life like this. He said, your life is either a warning of what not to do or an example. A warning of what not to do. Most people are engaged in self-sabotaging behavior. We're all born unique, but most people they die copies. Hold yourself as an example, as a leader. Operate and live your life from the place of Henry David Thoreau, who said, do not go where the path may lead, but go where there's no path and leave a trail. That with this opportunity, you can save some lives. We live in the greatest country in the world where people risk coming here and being separated from their children. People try and outrun jeeps barefooted, risk going to prison. And yet the suicide rate has increased from 1999 to now to over 33%. The suicide rate of young children between 5 and 11 has doubled. And we live in the greatest country in the world. Don't tell me about make America great again. We never stop being great. That's who we are. So when you show up, when you speak from your heart, and you see this person as a potential of greatness, you see the people that you're talking to being able to live their dreams. You see them overcoming the obstacles. You see them being an entrepreneur, controlling their destiny. You see and able to take them to a place within themselves where they can never go by themselves because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And because they heard you speak, because they were in your presence, they leave your presence feeling better about themselves, but talking about you, and their lives, because of you, will never be the same again. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. Repeat out to me, please. Live full.
Live full.
Everybody together, live full.
Live full.
Die empty. I remember when my PSA got as high as 2,400. 1 to 4 is normal. PSA stands for prostate specific antigen. And I was reflecting on my life. I asked God, is this it for me? And I remember reading the words of Dr. Howard Thurman, who wrote, "Deep is the hunger, the voice of the genuine, the centering moment." He said, the ideal situation for a man, a woman to die is to have family members praying with them, as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents, the leadership given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams, you never used those talents, you never developed those gifts, we never saw your leadership. And there they are standing around your bed with large angry eyes saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what abilities, what talents, what books, what leadership will die with you? My brother Miles Monroe, who passed in the Bahamas in the plane crash, he said, the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said, the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, because there you find potential never developed. There you find leaders the world never heard from. There you find people intelligent, gifted, all kind of abilities, that because they were thinking small, because they were surrounded by toxic, negative people, because they didn't believe in themselves, they took everything God placed in them to their grave. Maybe that's why one man wrote, oh God, to reach the point of death only to realize that you've never lived, that you never scraped the surface of your potential. Maybe that's why one woman asked, what if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong? Repeat after me again, please, with conviction. Live full. Die empty. I was working with a young lady. She came over from Morocco. She said, I want you to teach me how to speak from my heart. And I said, why? She said, I've been a wife and I've been a mother, but I've never been me. I want to live the rest of my life on my terms. How many of you can feel that? Raise your hands, please. Now, I've got to take a break. I don't see a clock out here. How much time do I have? Oh, there you are. I tell you, you get 75, you miss stuff, all right? Even Stevie Wonder could see that. Oh, behave, whatever. Repeat after me, please. You gotta be hungry. Mr. Washington said, Mr. Brown, what do you want to do with your life? I said, sir, I want to take care of my mother. I want to set her down. I don't want her ever work again. I don't want her ever paying bills again. He said, you got to be hungry. I said, what do you mean by that? People that are hungry are unstoppable. People that are hungry believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry, no excuse is acceptable. People that are hungry hold themselves to a higher standard. People that are hungry believe always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. I said, I'm hungry, sir, to take care of my mother all my life. People compare me to my brother and my sister at the University of Miami. They're very smart. And they always bullied me and told me what I couldn't do. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I'd like to become a disc jockey. He said, very good, here are my car keys. I said, what's this for? He said, there's a guy named Paul Harvey. He's the world's greatest communicator. At 12 noon, go to my car and listen to him. He does a program called The Rest of the Story. He said, you want to be successful? Watch somebody who's doing what it is you want to do and study them. I said, yes, sir. And then he told me something else. Write this down. OQP, only quality people. He said, surround yourself with only quality people. He said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. Only quality people. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Only quality people. Don't try and convince people to see this business, see this opportunity. A person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Only quality people. There's some people out there with your name on them. Only quality people. You can walk outside and find some pigeons right now, but you're looking for some eagles? It's gonna take you a minute. Only quality people. This is not for the faint at heart. This is not for everybody up in here. Up in here. You are different. You're unique. You're God's favorite child. And he said, Mr. Brown, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. That's so very important. He was absolutely right, because that advice he gave me, I took it to heart. I invested in myself to learn how to become more effective as a communicator. I've spoken in over 51 countries. I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you the best is yet to come. And I'm going to send to you as a gift something called presentation power, so you can increase your presentation power, because we're about to change history up in here, So I did the things that he told me to do. And then finally, and here where relationship capital comes in, because when I think about Coach K and Jermaine and our whole team, that when you have the right relationships, it can open doors for you. And he said, I want you to go to WMBM radio station. Ask for Milton Butterball Smith. Tell him I sent you there. I went. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. He said, do you have any experience in broadcasting? No, sir, I don't, but I visualize myself being a disc jockey. I practice every day. Let me audition for you, sir. He said, no, we don't have any job for you. How many have ever been rejected? Raise your hands, please. I was devastated with rejection. I went back and I said, Mr. Washington, he said, no. He said, don't take it personally. Most people are so negative, they have to say no 7 times before they say yes. He said, you gotta be hungry. Go back again. I went back again. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I like to be a disc jockey. I know what your name is. Weren't you here yesterday? Yes, sir, I was. Didn't I tell you no yesterday? Yes, sir, you did. And why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know whether or not somebody was laid off or somebody was fired, sir. No one was laid off or fired. Now, get on out of here. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy like I was singing for the first time. Hello, Mr. Butterball. How are you, sir? My name is Les Brown, sir. I'd like to be a disc jockey. I know what your name is. Didn't I tell you no the last 2 days? Yes, sir. Then why are you back today? Well, sir, I didn't know the word not someone got sick or someone died, sir. No one got sick or died. No one was laid off or fired. Now don't you come back here again. I came back the next day, talking loud, looking happy like I was singing for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you? He looked at me with rage. He says, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. My favorite book says, the greatest among you will be your servant. You want to serve people. You want them to know that you care about them. You want to help them to live a life of significance. You want them to live their dreams and not their fears. And so I became the errand boy for the disc jockeys. I'd go get their lunch and their dinner, and I'd stand in the control room watching them work their hands on the control board, knowing my time will come. People who come across this stage as high achievers and leaders, I want you to look at them and know your time shall come. Your time shall come. And on the weekends, they would come out in the parking lot and their cars were waxed and clean inside out. And they said, hey, who did this? I did, sir. How much you charge, young boy? Nothing, sir. I just wanted to help out. I was building relationship capital. And he said, wow, you're a keeper. You're a keeper. Here are my car keys. I want you to go to the airport to pick up Diana Ross and Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. Relationship capital. I drive these entertainers all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys, big long Cadillacs. I didn't have any driver's license, but I was driving like I had some. And one day, a guy named Rockin' Roger, a disc jockey named Rockin' Roger, was drinking while he was on the air. And he couldn't complete the show. Saturday afternoon, and I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room window, walking back and forth. As he was stuttering, I was saying, to God be the glory. As he was stuttering, I said, drink, Rob, drink. And pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager, and I answered the phone. I said, hello? He said, young boy, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. Would you call one of the DJs in? I said, yes, sir. And I hung up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn on the radio. I'm about to come on the air. And I put on a fast record. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. I was hungry. I was hungry. I was hungry. You got to be hungry. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you got to be hungry. Shake someone's hand and say, you got to be hungry. Let us hold hands where you are. That hand that you're holding, feel that pulse. That's an unrepeatable miracle. That person was chosen by God to do a special work. That person whose hand you're holding was created on purpose, for a purpose, with a purpose. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for that hand. Father, we thank you for the dreamers in this room. People that when they leave here, that they will go out and not only be messengers, but they will be messaged, the message that they bring. People that know of themselves they can do nothing, but with you all things are possible. We stand knowing we are here because of your grace and your mercy. And we give thanks. We give thanks. Thank you for the strength, for the courage, for the faith. Thank you for the resolve. Thank you for the opportunity to change our lives. Thank you to do that which others see as impossible. Thank you for reducing the suicide rate. Thank you for bringing families together. Thank you for giving people hope. Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for allowing us to stand together. To God be the glory. God bless you.
Wow. Yeah, that was powerful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired and you are ready to do the impossible, make the impossible possible. What a great talk by Les Brown, the amazing Les Brown.